Hello friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. So today's video is going to be doing my eye swatches with the new Kaleidos Escape Pod palette, and in this video I'm also going to do comparisons of all of the highlighters in the Kaleidos range, including comparing the reformulated Ray Rider, because a lot of you informed me in my first impressions that the reason they sent me Ray Rider again is because they reformulated it. Thank you for letting me know, because I'm excited to see what the difference is. I'm so glad a lot of you guys liked my first impressions video. I really enjoyed doing it. I'm so glad I was able to bust it out after work and get it up for you guys. It was just such an exciting collection. I was so stoked. I had a few people comment that they were bummed that I didn't do arm swatches, but maybe you're new here. I don't do arm swatches very often. I really don't do them for reviews or first impression style videos. For me, arm swatches don't give an idea on how the product performs. All it does is simply shows what the color looks like on my skin tone, and that's really not going to do much for every single person unless you are exactly my skin tone. I'm just not a swatch person. I wasn't even really a big swatcher before I had a YouTube channel. It's just, they don't interest me. I don't like doing them. The only time you'll really catch me doing swatches is if it's like a swatch party style video where maybe I got like a bunch of new shadows and I just want to play with them. Or I've been doing a series where I've been swatching all of the colors in the rainbow in my collection. That's kind of the only time I like to do it, because I simply just want to see colors. But when it's just a palette and it's like a review or a first impressions, I don't feel like that does anything for me as far as giving anything helpful for the review or first impressions itself. I care about seeing how the product performs, and that is exactly why today we're going to do eye swatches. If I'm going to do swatches on deciding how I feel about a palette, I do them on my eyes. I can't do them for every single palette ever. I usually do it based on the interest of you guys, and this just allows us to really see how a product performs on the eyes, what the shadows look on the eyes. That's what's important to me. I know some of you are still going to disagree and you think I should do arm swatches, but there are so many channels out there. There are so many Instagram accounts. There are so many places where you can see arm swatches. I'm just not that person to do arm swatches. I try to do the best I can to provide as much information as possible as far as how the product performs and my opinion on it, and I'm just not an arm swatch kind of person, so I hope you can understand that's just not my game. I'm just more interested in seeing how things perform and creating beautiful looks. Beautiful in my opinion. I guess that's subjective, but you know. Oh, and also, by the way, I did film this look with the Kaleidos new Escape Pod palette for my IGTV. It should already be up by the time this video goes up. Anyways, let's just hop into the eye swatches, and then at the end of the video we will chat about those eye swatches, and we will also do the comparisons between the highlights. So yeah, let's just hop into it. I'm not going to ramble anymore. I've already been talking a lot in this intro. Hello, nice and up close and personal, zoomed in. We are ready to swatch. I go to work in a little while, but I really wanted to bust out these eye swatches this morning. I'm super curious how all of these look on the eye and how they perform. Just in case you're new and you haven't seen me do an eye swatch video before, I'm going to prime my eyes every single time with my Smashbox Lid Primer in Light. I love this primer. I've been loving it for such a long time. Kaleidos did just come out with an eye primer as well, but I really want to test these shadows on what I already know and love, just so I can be able to tell if it's the shadows or not. You know what I mean? If I use the primer, I won't be able to necessarily blame the shadows if something goes wrong. I'm going to start by doing all the mattes first. I'll do one shadow on each eye. I usually try to do colors that could look possibly similar just so we can gauge the differences. For every shadow, I'll be packing it on with an eyeshadow brush. This is my Alter Ego number 4, and then I will take a blending brush and buff it out. This is a ColourPop E2. I have brush cleaner next to me to clean my brushes in between each use. I haven't had that before. Usually I use a million different brushes, but this time we are extra scientific. I'm going to keep everything the same. And yeah, I don't set my eyeshadow primer. I think that's all I had to say about the mattes. And then we will get onto the shimmers. I'm not going to test how shimmers blend in the crease because I don't like shimmers in the crease, and I know a majority of people don't. I care more about how the shimmer is going to look on the lid. I'm going to apply it first on just a primed eye, and then I will add glitter primer and do a second layer with glitter primer. I always do glitter primer with the shadows, but I want you guys to be able to see what the shadow looks like without it, just in case you aren't a glitter primer obsessed person like I am. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just prime both eyes with my Smashbox Lid Primer on my very blank naked face. I just woke up like 35 minutes ago, 40 minutes ago, something like that. I might still have sleepy voice, but I am ready for these swatches. Just for those who are curious, I'm using my Cinema Secrets brush cleaner. This cleans your brush in an instant, and it dries them in an instant as well. I don't like to clean my brushes every time this way because I feel like I don't know, I just like to do a deep clean every so often as well, but it's great for stuff like this where I just want a quick clean in between shades. Okay, well let's just hop into it. We're gonna take Soiree on this side and the darker purple Mardi Gras on this side. And I think I said it backwards earlier. I like to blend it through the crease first and then I pack it on the lid just so we can see how that blend looks to start with. So yeah, let's just hop into it. Well, here are these first two shades. I really like both of these colors a lot. I'm not convinced that this is the same matte formula that I'm used to from Kaleidos. I guess I'll be able to tell you for sure once I've played with all of these mattes. I did play with both of these shades in my first impressions, and I really liked how they performed, and I still like how they look. They are nice shadows. I just don't feel like it's the same. Not sure what it is exactly. I feel like I do have to... It's like they're pigmented, but at the same time I have to build them up, especially when I'm blending. It likes to fade away a little bit. But I mean, overall it looks good now, and I didn't like struggle hard to do it, but I don't know, that's just kind of how I feel right now. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I am going to go and take these swatches off my eyes. If I have any staining, I'll let you know just with all the shades, but if not, I'll just be back with primed eyes ready for the next shades. All right, I've returned, and by the way, I don't think I said it earlier, but I do use the same eyeshadow brush for both eyes. I just flip to the clean side just to make life easier and not waste a ton of brushes. No staining, we are primed and ready to go for the next swatches. We're gonna take Flamingo, and I'm just gonna pair that with the blue one. I wanna save the orange to pair with this kind of corally kind of shade. I did have issues with the blue in my first impressions. It got very patchy on me, so I'm very interested to see how it is in this video because it's on my regular eyeshadow base. And the pink seemed okay, but I only used it on my lower lash line. So let's just hop in and see. I'm gonna put the pink here, blue here. Let's just hop into it. While I'm doing this, I had a few people in my first impressions say that the blue might have been patchy because I layered it on top of like purples, but I've done that so many times and I've never really had that issue before. It was very odd. I wasn't doing anything unusual and I was getting that issue, so I don't know. I guess we'll just see how this swatch goes. I'm just really having trouble with this blue. Let me zoom in so you can see it compared to the pink. Like, I feel like the pink just looks softer and it just kind of flows out, and this one just has like this harsh line and does not want to buff out. I'm using the same kind of techniques, same brushes. I've played with blues 1,000 times. I love blue eyeshadow. This blue just... it's being very troublesome to me, and I used a really small brush to help blend in my first impressions. So I'm not understanding. I have a smaller brush here, try to buff out this line, but like I don't like to have to work this hard for shadow. That's the bottom line. I feel like this blue is just, it's just not my favorite blue I've ever used. It might be one of my least favorite blues, which is a shame because like it feels like such a different shadow than all these other ones. I mean, to the touch it actually feels a little bit softer. I don't know if that's why. I would have honestly expected it to feel drier to the touch just because of how it's performing, but I'm not really sure. You guys can just see I just tried to apply eyeshadow like I always do, and it's being very difficult. I'm gonna wipe these off though and we'll move on. All right, back and primed and ready to go. I will still keep trying to use that blue in other ways, maybe off camera while I'm doing like quick eye makeup before work or something, but if the blue is just being that difficult, I'm just probably not gonna reach for this blue very often, and that's unfortunate, but maybe it's just a me problem. Maybe other people are having great experiences, but so far that shadow is not being my friend. Tango is going on this side, and this one down here called Carnaval is gonna go on this side. Let's see how these go. I didn't play with these at all in my first impressions. I feel like these are different. However, I feel like they look much more similar on the eye than I thought. I know this outer edge looks scary, but I'm not trying to make a pretty shape. I'm just trying to blend through the crease. I feel like on the eye, these look quite similar. I personally don't feel like we needed both in the palette. I do like the bottom one more because it's a little more coral and a little less orange. This is a really squeaky palette, by the way. So if you're squeaking, that's why I need to just put that down. But really on the eye, I don't feel like I needed both personally. But keep in mind, I'm also not the biggest orange toned eyeshadow wearer. Maybe if you are a orange eyeshadow wearer, you would love having both of these. But they seem to perform okay. Like they're just like kind of airy as I get to the edges. It's very soft. I'm not getting that like weird harsh edge like I did with the blue. Squeaky. I'm gonna wipe these off and we'll move on again. Hello, I'm back. I feel like I'm starting to get some color around my eyes, but I think it's just because my eyes are already starting to get irritated from all the swatches. I don't think I'm getting stained per se. But let's go ahead and move on to the next ones. I'm already primed and ready to go. I'm gonna take Bossa Nova on this eye, and I'm gonna go ahead and take the other brown Terrace on this eye. We'll just do this cream shadow by itself. Let's dive in, I guess. It's just brown. We'll see how they go. Alright, here we are with the browns. Again, everything seems okay. It all just seemed to blend. I didn't really get that weird patchiness issue. I really like the tone of this cool tone brown. I picture that would look really nice with like these light shimmers. I don't know, I think that would look really cute. But yeah, here are the shadows. I think they did pretty well. I guess let's wipe these off and we'll do that quick little cream shade and then we'll move on to the shimmers, which is the most important part. All right, hello again. I have just this eye prime so we can do that last matte shade, which is called Lo-Fi. I am just interested in seeing what this looks like on the eye. I don't think it's gonna look like much of anything, but we shall see, won't we? And there's that. Most exciting color in the palette, isn't it? I know that that's a very useful shade for certain people. Some people still set their eyeshadow base with a light powder. I just don't do that. So this is the kind of shade that I will like never use. But I get that it has a place for certain people. But for me, it's just kind of like whatever. But let's move on to the last 6 shades. These beautiful shimmers. I can't wait to see what they look like. Let's just move on to that. All right, eyes are primed again with my eyeshadow primer as usual. And again, I'll do one layer with the shimmer and then I will go in with my NYX glitter primer, do a layer of this, and then go back in with the same shadow over top of it just so we can see how much more it pops. So we're going to take Starlight Sonata on one eye, and on the other eye we will take Amaretto. So champagne, pink, let's do the thing. Alright, here are those. You might have just heard the end of my YouTube video playing in the background. But yeah, they're beautiful. I use this as my inner corner highlight in my first impressions. I've yet to use this pink. It's so pretty. I love how sparkly they both are. They're so reflective. And I don't know how well it translates over camera, but the glitter primer definitely just makes things like even just brighter and more impactful. However, these shadows were already beautiful and impactful on their own, so you could totally get away with not, but I'm a glitter primer person. The more impact, the better. I'm gonna wipe these off and we will do the next 2. All right, primed eyes again. We're gonna do the purple ones today. We're gonna take Space Oasis on this eye and Cosmic Cabaret on this eye. I did play with this first purple in my first impressions and I loved it. It's so pretty. I can't wait to see these both next to each other. Ooh, look how pretty those are. I love this shade so much, just the way it shifts and reflects. This shimmer purple is beautiful as well, but this one is just so ethereal and cute. Ooh, I like both of these so much. Okay, let's wipe these off and then do the final two shades. I'm really excited to see these greens next to each other. All right, it's time for the last two shades. My eyes are ready for a break. Goodness gracious. Let's do those two greens. We have Galactic Gala, which will go on this eye, and Saturnalia, which will go on this eye. And that one is the one I used in my first impressions. So beautiful. I'm really excited to see how these differ on the eye. I mean, again, I can see a slight difference, like with that orange and that coral, but like, I don't know if we needed both of these. I don't feel like we needed them both. They're both really pretty, and like I can see more of a difference on my hand. Like this one definitely has like a little more brightness, a little more of a springy green, and this one has a little bit more depth to it. But I feel like they're not so different that we needed both. I probably would have preferred if like one of those could have been a really nice matte green. That would have been really pretty. But I don't hate it either. I love a good sparkly, shimmery green eyeshadow. It's really cute. I'm not hating it. But yeah, that's the end of the swatches. I'm going to go take this off, give my eyes a little break, and then get ready for work. And then maybe tomorrow or the next day I'll be filming the intro and outro. So yeah, end of the swatches. Let's move on to the end of the video. All right, hello, I'm back. I've returned. Hello. Full face again, not looking so scary and tired anymore. It's actually the next day. I know I said I didn't know when I'd be able to film the intro and outro. It's the next day. It's after work. Hello. I'm tired and hungry, but I'm actually like also in a really good mood. I'm really pumped. I love how this look came out. Again, it's on Instagram if you're interested. And now I'm just really excited to see all of these highlights next to each other. I can tell you right now, just based on the first impressions of the new ones, that they're very different than what I already have, just because I love these highlights with my whole heart. I know them pretty well, but I know you guys really wanted to see it, and I'm just excited to see them all laid out. And we'll just go from there. Let's really quick first talk about the palette though, and just chat this far. This is the squeakiest palette ever. Anyone who has this palette so far, my YouTube friends, is yours as squeaky as mine? Mine is so squeaky. I need some like WD-40 for this palette. Okay, so basically from just my first impressions video, from filming this look, and from doing the eye swatches, the only shadow that seems to give me trouble as far as performance goes is the blue. I had a few people in my first impressions comment saying that it's just that particular shade of blue that tends to give you guys issues as well, but I can't think of any other specific blues that are this shade in my collection that give me that issue. I don't know. It's very interesting to me. None of my other Kaleido shadows that I've ever used gave me that issue, but I mean, you guys saw I applied all the shadows the exact same way. In my first impressions video, I used a very small brush to pack it on and then lightly try to blend the edges, and that didn't work. Not really sure about this shadow. It's probably one I'm just going to avoid from here on out, which is a bummer because I love a good blue eyeshadow, but unfortunately this is just not a good blue eyeshadow. If I need a blue, I will just dip into other palettes, but if you're someone who's very interested in a blue in this particular palette, you saw how it performed for me. Obviously, I suggest watching other people's videos. Maybe there's an inconsistency. Maybe I got a bad blue. I can't be sure of that, but I know for me, this is probably a blue I'm going to avoid from here on out. I used it with my regular eyeshadow primer and everything, and I'm not a big fan of it. The shimmers are all so beautiful. I do, again, wish that one of these greens was different, either a different shimmer or if one of them was a matte, just because I feel like on the eyes, they really don't play that much difference, you know? And then again, with the coral and the orange, I feel like I also didn't need both of those. They do have more of a difference than those two greens, but I feel like for me, they just play so similar that I didn't need both of them. But again, I'm also not the biggest like orange eyeshadow wearer. It's never the first thing I grab, and maybe that's just because I just don't enjoy using it, so maybe that's why I feel that way about these two shades. Maybe if you're a heavy orange eyeshadow lover, you'll feel different. You'll have to let me know in the comments. But yeah, I don't really have much else left to say. I will be doing a 3 looks 1 palette on this. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to, just because going forward, I'm not guaranteeing that I will give a 3 looks 1 palette on every palette anymore. They take so much time, and I worked so hard for years doing them like every single week, every like 4 to 5 days. I don't know if I can continue to put myself through that, especially with the amount of content I'm trying to produce for you guys, as well as how much I'm working in my salon. So I can't promise I can always do a 3 looks, but you guys expressed a lot of interest, so I'm going to be working really hard to get that out for you as soon as possible. So at the end of all that, we'll have a first impressions, eye swatches, IGTV video, and a 3 looks 1 palette. So I'll have played with all these shades so many times, and I'll have a very good, thorough review for you at the end of that video. This again is not a review. My first impressions was not a review. This is simply just me trying out the product. But so far I really like the palette. There are just a few shade options I wish were different, and the blue wasn't great for me. But other than that, I'm pretty pleased so far. For this look, obviously you can go to my Instagram if you want to watch the tutorial happen, but I used the 2 browns and then that lighter shimmery purple, and I didn't have any issues with the performance. I felt like everything played nicely together and it was easy breezy. I think that the shimmer formula is the same, but I'm not convinced that the matte formula is the same. I'm undecided. I would love a clear answer about that, but I don't know for sure. All right, we've talked about this eyeshadow palette enough, haven't we? Let's get into these swatches. Goodness, I'm so excited. So basically, I'm just gonna swatch these based on what I feel like would be similar-ish, so we can get a good variety and just see a good gradient. Let's start with the pinks. We're gonna start with Star Surfer. It's the light pink one that was part of their original release. At the end, I will do a close-up of my arm so you can really see them all together. This is Star Surfer. It's a really pretty light pink. I find it to be really easy to wear because it's not like too out there. You can wear it with pretty much whatever look you want. Pink highlights aren't everybody's cup of tea, but I feel like this is just a very subtle, soft pink. It's not anything too crazy. Should probably make these swatches a little bit bigger so that we can see everything closer up. Next to that, I'm gonna pair one of the brand new highlights called Diamond Dasher. I'm stoked about this highlight. I mean, if you guys saw my first impressions, you know how pumped I was about these highlights. This is what the inside looks like. It did get crushed in shipping, but everything else arrived fine, and it wasn't like so insanely crushed that it was gone forever. I was able to just squish it together. Not a huge deal for me as long as it is salvageable. So here's Diamond Dasher. It's similar in the sense that it's very soft, but I feel like Diamond Dasher has a little bit more of that pink shift in it. Try to build this swatch up a little bit more. I told you guys, I'm not a great swatcher. But there's that one, just a little bit different of a tone. And again, I will do close-ups at the end so you can get a really good close-up shot. Next to these, I want to use Comet Catcher, which is one of the original highlights as well. It looks like this. This one is kind of like translucent, and then it shifts to a very vibrant, cool toned pink. I don't know if I'd say cool tone, but it's not like super like hot pink or anything either. So let's see. Let me just put that guy here. I'm gonna try to build this swatch up as well. This one is different as well because it doesn't have shimmer to it. This one is more so just glowy, whereas the first 2 had more shimmer in them. You can kind of see that shift, and again, I'll close up soon. But it just has that really pretty, like, I don't know, more of a cool tone pink. It's really cute. Next to that, I'm gonna put Mars Melter, one of the brand new ones. I wore this on my face in my first impressions. Lost my mind. It's beautiful. It's another kind of translucent-y one, but it has kind of like a pinky red shift. It's so vibrant. It's beautiful. I feel like this one has a little bit more shimmer in it than Comet Catcher does, but it's not nearly as shimmery as the first 2. All right, here's Mars Melter right there. So pretty. I'm gonna just build that guy up some more, and there is that. It's similar, but I feel like this one just has a little bit more warmth to it, and it also, I feel like, has a stronger shift. When I wear Comet Catcher, I feel like I have to pile it on if I want a very intense color shift, but otherwise it's just more subtle. It pops when the light hits it right. This one, while it does still pop when the light hits it right, I feel like it happens more often. Not quite sure if I'm explaining my thoughts thoroughly enough, but I'm trying to explain it the best I can. All right, moving away from the pinky red moment, let's move on to, yes, I was gonna second guess myself. Let's just move on to Moon Cruiser. It's the one I'm actually wearing on my face right now. It's one of the new ones. It has kind of like a blue-violet shift. It's beautiful. Looks like that. This one does have some shimmer in it as well. It is so lovely. All right, let's just pop that guy right here. Oh, it's just so beautiful. All right, there's Moon Cruiser. I love that strong shift through it. It's just so beautiful. I mean, you can see it on my face as well. It's just absolutely stunning. Next to that, I'm gonna place Skywalker. It's one of the original ones as well. This one also has some shimmer in it, and this is just a beautiful light baby blue. One of my most used ones out of all of them. I think it's stunning. I love this one so, so much. Just gonna pop that guy right here. This one's a little bit more of a softer, lighter one as well, and then that blue sparkle really pops through when you move your face around. How pretty this is all looking. Oh, I love that shine. It's so cute. And I feel like this one's a little bit more, I don't want to say it's turquoise, but it definitely has a little bit more of a turquoisey undertone in the blue versus the Mars Melter one. Not Mars Melter, Moon Cruiser, which is more of that cool toned blue purple kind of feel. These next few just don't really have anything to do with each other other than the fact that the Ray Rider is a reformulated one. But let's move on to Laser Glaser. This is the green shifty one, so I figured it might be appropriate to put it next to the blues. This one, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I was terrified of this when I first got it in the mail, but it actually plays beautifully on the skin. If you are fair like me, just use a light hand and it's just the most beautiful green glow. If you go heavy-handed with it, yes, it can be a bit too dark, but if you have a light hand, this is the most beautiful green highlight ever. I'm gonna pop this guy down here. And again, it's gonna look dark on my skin, but I promise you, light hand, I've used it on my cheeks so many times. A lot of you have seen me use it and it's just so pretty. But look at that green shift. It's insane. And then obviously if you have a deeper skin tone than me, you really won't have an issue wearing this. It's just absolutely stunning. Love this one. All of these are beautiful on the eyes as well, by the way. I popped them in my inner corner. I popped them in the middle of my lid. You really can't go wrong. I think they're stunning. Let's move on to Solar Sailor. Again, one of the originals. I don't know if I said it, but Laser Glaser is an original as well. This one is very similar to Halo from Give Me Glow Cosmetics. If you have that one, it's a gold but blue at the same time. It's kind of like a weird neutrally blue color with a strong gold shift. I don't really know if that makes sense because it really doesn't, but it really does just have the most beautiful gold shift. I'm gonna pop this one down here. Just gonna build that swatch up. There you have it. I don't know if you can see what I mean, but it's like when the light isn't directly shining to give it that gold flip, it has just kind of like a grayish blue kind of undertone, but not so pigmented that it looks like a gray-blue splotch on the face. It's so hard to explain, but it's so beautiful. I love the shift in it. I feel like that contrast of colors just really helps make this one unique. And finally, Ray Rider. This is what the packaging looks like. The exterior looks the exact same on both, but it's just nice orange, blue, yellow Ray Rider. This is my original. My lid detaches from it because it's been used so many times, but it's just a really pretty, easy to wear champagne color. It's the most like normal out of the bunch. We're gonna pop the original one down here. It's a really lovely shade. I have used it quite a lot just because, like I said, it is really easy to wear, so I'm really interested in seeing what the new version looks like. Oh, I just love all this. It's so pretty. All right, we got the new boy right here. Let's look at what it looks like. I feel like it feels the same. It still feels just nice and pretty. I feel like this one doesn't really have shimmer in it, but it is very glowy. I feel like I can see a difference. Yeah, this one's a little bit more golden. This one's a little bit more not, a little more neutral. They're both very similar, but they're very beautiful. But they are different. They have reformulated. It's a little lighter, a little less bronzy gold. Ooh, that's beautiful. That's actually gonna probably complement my skin tone better than the deeper one did. So I'm really glad that you guys informed me, because otherwise I would have just given it to a friend, and had I not known that I might actually like the new version better. So that's pretty exciting. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. I don't think I specified. Laser Glaser does have a little bit of shimmer, but it's not like insanely sparkly in my opinion. I mean, none of these are like glittery. None of them are like glitter on the face, but they do, some of them have like more of a shimmer to it. You might be able to see that difference between the shimmery ones and the few non-shimmery ones once I get closer. Let's do some zoom in. Do you guys like my tie-dye pants? I'm pretty sure you could see my pants in that. I tried to contort my arm in so many ways so you could see the shifts as best as possible. I feel like cameras truly can't capture the shifts in these as much as I would like them to, but hopefully they helped convey the message enough to at least give you a good idea if you were trying to decide which one to get. Do not ask me to pick a #1 favorite. It's really hard. Skywalker's definitely up there. I have a feeling Diamond Dasher would also be up there once I get more use out of it. I mean, you can see that I've put dents in a lot of these. It's really hard to pick a #1 favorite, so please don't ask me. You really just have to go based on which colors you like the best, which ones you think you'd wear the most. I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. I don't hate any of them, so just make your best decision. Anyways, that's the end of this video. I really hope it was helpful, informative, fun. At the end of the day, it is just makeup. It's not that serious, but I do want to be able to help you make your best decision as much as possible. If you made it to the end of this video, leave me a space-related emoji, and if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, please hop over to my Instagram. It's Beauty and follow me there. I post every single day, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm posting most days here as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Okay, bye!